review of my very first camera, the Sony NEX-VG10. I moved to Virginia from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 2012. I bought my very first camera in 2011. At the time, I wasn't doing any photography. I just wanted to study video. And this was released in 2010. This bad boy got me through so many of my very first shoots. It comes with a kit lens. This thing is an 18 to 200, 3.5 to 5.6. So there's this really cool little, let's see, can you see that there? This little locking mechanism right there that allows you to lock the zoom ring. So if you're filming straight down, the lens is so heavy that if you're filming straight down, if you unlock the zoom, it can go like that. Take the lens off. Look at that. The lens is as big as a freaking camera body, weighs twice as much. It is stabilized. It's all metal. So this bad boy doesn't do 4K. It's 1920 by 1080p, up to 30 frames per second. It's big stuff in 2010, I guess. It's a pretty sick little camera. I mean, it's got the flip out screen. Check this out. Whoop. That's it. It articulates, but not all the way around, so you couldn't really vlog with it. I don't know that vlogging was a thing 9 years ago. So the footage is pretty stable. Actually, when you have enough light, the footage coming out of this camera is actually not that bad for being pretty dated. So it has a single card slot right there. It takes Sony's big old brick batteries. Lasts pretty long too. Headphone jack, a USB jack, and an HDMI jack. I'm pretty sure it's micro HDMI. And a little headphone port. And up here, we have a mic in right there. A little 1/8 inch mic jack. Pretty cool, actually. The big selling point for this camera back in the day when it came out was its built-in microphone. So it comes with this little windscreen. And if you take it off, you have 4 microphones right there. Covers all areas of the area. The onboard sound is actually pretty good, especially, you know, compared to the DSLRs that we all shoot with nowadays. All right, this is a audio test of the onboard mic on the Sony NEX-VG10. And it has a little 1/8 inch mic input, so you got some decent options there. And check this out. If you open this, whoop, you have your shoe mounts right there on the top. So capabilities were there. I mean, for a first camera, I didn't know what any of that did. I threw it all in auto and just kind of went for it, and everything kind of just turned out okay. We have a record start and stop button, also the shutter button, and that's what blows my mind about this camera that I never used, probably wouldn't even use today if I still use this camera. This thing has a mechanical shutter. Check this out, listen. So whenever I look at this camera, I think about a lot of times that I sacrificed and struggled hard for what I love to do. And I know a lot of people who do this for a living who always keep their first cameras. And there's something about this being up on my shelf that, like, it keeps me honest. It never lets me forget whenever this industry is difficult. It never lets me forget that I do this because I love it. It never lets me forget about those old jobs that I had that I did for little or no money, my first weddings, all that good stuff. I mean, those are memories that I don't want to forget. Not to mention, when my wife and I were just dating, I had her come out and help me shoot a couple of weddings, and she used this camera at those weddings, and she loves this camera. Now, granted, it shoots on all auto, but it does auto really well. I mean, I think that's mostly what it was designed to do. You have some controls here on the body for, let's see, gain, exposure, compensation, white balance, but for the most part, auto it does very, very well. It's got your grid lines, it's got a histogram, it's got everything that you need in an HD camera. Nowadays, I think it's dated, obviously, the lower frame rates and no 4K, and it came out 9 years ago. And for a kid's first camera getting into video production 9 years ago, this camera was amazing, and I don't regret it for a second. I love this as my very first camera, and I hope to keep it with me